Warning, this article contains spoilers from The Last of Us. The Last of Us served up a particularly sinister slice of the post-apocalyptic horror this week. The HBO episode titled When We Are in Need saw Ellie Williams, played by Bella Ramsey, desperate to try and save Joel Miller, Pedro Pascal, after he was stabbed by a raider while the pair were fleeing from the university. Ellie was trying to save Joel when she found herself confronted by survivors David, Scott Shepherd, and James, Troy Baker, who were seeking vengeance for the murder of Alec. Why are there cannibals in The Last of Us? Much like in the video game, James and David were revealed to be part of the Silver Lake community who had resorted to becoming cannibals. The pair were hiding dead bodies, which were cut up and used to feed their fellow survivors. Towards the end, 2 decapitated human corpses were seen hanging up in a kitchen, which confirmed the community were feeding on their own. David had turned to God amid the cordyceps outbreak and seemed to believe he had to lead and tend to his flock, even if it meant eating their own. The Last of Us streaming. How to watch The Last of Us in the UK. HBO's post-apocalyptic drama series The Last of Us launched with a feature-length premiere. The show imagines a post-pandemic world populated by the last vestiges of humanity, with one girl offering a ray of hope. The Last of Us is led by Game of Thrones alumni Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey playing Joel and Ellie respectively, who are traveling across America on a desperate mission to escape from a quarantine zone. Prior to the big reveal, there'd been hints of cannibalism when the community sat in an empty restaurant, looking forlorn. David promised to take care of them all and provide for them by going hunting. Additionally, James was reluctant for David to bring Ellie into their community, stressing she was just another mouth to feed. There was also a scene in which the staff in the community canteen said they weren't questioning where the meat came from after Ellie traded the deer she'd killed for medication for Joel. The Silver Lake community came into stark contrast with Tommy Miller's Gabriel Luna own utopian commune, which seemed to be thriving with plentiful supplies of food. From the looks of it, there is still food within the world, but for whatever reason the Silver Lake community grew very hungry and ended up becoming cannibals. Co-creator Craig Mazin said about the episode, "We are all meant to feel hopeless because it is hopeless for Ellie, and we also come to understand 2 things that maybe weren't immediately clear. One is that David is a bad father in a terrible, bad way, and the other is that these people that Ellie finds herself amongst have been eating their own dead." Previously, fans of The Last of Us video game discussed the plot point about why the community became cannibals. One Redditor Urban_Maniac said, "They did cannibalism cause there was no food during winter." David says the winter was harsh. However, another person called Mace Flakes said, "I'm not that sure about it." The Meat Ledger note we can find near Ellie's backpack and the stuff of their other victims suggests that they were hunting people for at least a couple of years, their most active months being May and June. Another user pointed out, "But you are literally shooting a deer when you meet David." They had access to great shelter, based off Estes Park I think, and there would be a ton of animals around. User Quado3 said, "This is a bit speculative, but I'm pretty sure most of David's community didn't know, i.e., were kept in the dark, that they were eating human flesh some of the time, usually during the winter. I'd guess. A fuck only James and David knew about it for sure." Sick, while another Redditor commented, "I think you are right, most of the group had no idea." When David was offering food to Ellie, promising it was not human, it left me thinking it probably was. User Maceflakes went on to say, "I'm pretty sure they all knew they were eating human flesh. It would be hard to imagine David and James were the only one from their group who were hunting other human beings and drag their dead bodies during miles without any help, more particularly before they rot, and bring them to the place where they hanged/stored them without no one noticing it. Or bring prisoners alive to their lakeside resort, and slit their throat, for no good reason." They went on to say, "Plus when David is talking about it, he clearly says, 'And you think we have a choice? Is that it? You kill to survive. And so do we. We have to take care of our own. By any means necessary.'" The use of the plural clearly shows Hess not alone, and I doubt Hess only talking about James. A user called PaxBanana0 also pointed out, "There are a lot more people than deer in the US. And other animals eat deer, bears, wolves, coyotes. Humans are probably a lot more plentiful, significantly easier to kill, and not naturally prone to predation competition. It's not just about having the resource around but the energy required to harvest that resource. Killing 3 travelers in a nearby house is a lot easier than sitting in the cold all day and tracking 1 deer." This discussion about the video game shows the jury was very much out about why the community turned to cannibalism, with some wondering if they didn't need to, and this is something which is likely to now continue on with fans of the TV show. The Last of Us airs on HBO and HBO Max on Sundays at 9 p.m. EST and on Mondays on Sky Atlantic, and now on at 2 a.m. and 9 p.m.
Now take